What's going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the Bring the Juice Colts podcast. Just quick disclaimer. Sorry if my voice sounds weird or if I have to cough a little bit. Just came back from a run and it's 39 degrees outside, so it was cold and I'm still trying to recuperate from that. But anyways, wanted to get a reaction video for you guys on the game yesterday between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Indianapolis Colts. I was at the game with my dad. Also, big ups to the Colts owner, Jim Irsay, who retweeted our picture. I'll have to show my dad that here in a little bit. But big ups to Jim Irsay. Appreciate that, sir. But anyways, going into this game. So here's the thing, guys. I kind of took a second to kind of sit back on this. And, you know, I don't think there's a ton you can take away from this game. Honestly, I think the issues that were at hand in this game were pretty apparent. You know, I mean, you saw what happened, and, you know, I mean, this was a Jacksonville team that just last week beat one of the best teams in the NFL. So, I mean, you know, it's the NFL, man. Doesn't really matter who is good or not. You know, it's just one of those things where these teams can play differently each and every week. And the weird thing about this game was the fact that we've had this kind of concept where over the last 5 weeks, we have been talking about the offense helping the defense out to win games, right? Because the defense has been giving up points and the offense just isn't backing that up. Well, ironically enough, yesterday it was the exact opposite of that. The defense was the one that was bailing the offense out through the majority of that game. Outside of the first 2 drives for Indianapolis yesterday, there was just really not much going for any of the offense. I mean, it was amazing because Jonathan Taylor, who, by the way, finished yesterday with 126 scrimmage yards, finished with 116 rushing yards, again, is now tied with, I think he's tied with Derrick Henry right now for the most rushing yards in the NFL. And 93 of those yards came in the first 2 drives. Jonathan Taylor had 93 of his 116 yards in the first 2 drives of the game. So that means after that, after the first quarter was over, Jonathan Taylor had a grand total of 11 carries for 23 yards in the second, third, and fourth quarter altogether. And Hines only had 2 rushes for 12 yards. So it wasn't like he really was used much either. And, you know, Hines wasn't utilized very much in the passing game either. Only got 4 touches yesterday. So, again, the consistency and execution of the team, including the offensive line, was an issue. I think it's very apparent that the offensive line was not very good yesterday, mainly in the pass protection. Carson Wentz was getting hit quite frequently yesterday, and that's not good. You want to make sure you're going to clean that up, because if you don't clean that up against a team like Buffalo, Carson Wentz is going to be on the ground every other play, and that's not a good thing to have. Carson Wentz yesterday, again, I kind of gave him a little bit of a pass due to the fact of how many times he was having to deal with pressure and the ineffectiveness of the offensive line for most of that game. Carson Wentz did make some big key throws, especially that one at the end to Michael Pittman. That was a huge one to set up a field goal for us to be able to win the game. Outside of that, I mean, there's not much to really say about it. You know, I mean, Carson certainly had I think this might have been his worst day as a quarterback here in Indianapolis, and it was against Jacksonville. 22 of 34 for 180 yards and no touchdowns. I mean, he missed some throws. Yeah. Did his receivers drop a few? Yeah. It just, all of it really wasn't working very well for Carson. He missing some reads, receivers not being open, offensive line not protecting him, inability to run the football after the first quarter was over. And I'll be honest, guys, I hate saying it again because I know you're going to think that I'm giving Carson Wentz an excuse on this, but it's the truth. The play calling was terrible yesterday, especially in the second half. The Colts only scored 3 points in the second half, by the way. 3 points. And that came on the last drive of the game. I saw a drive, I think it was the drive before that one, where they went running back screen to Jonathan Taylor, got nothing. You ran the ball with Jonathan Taylor, you got 2 yards. Then you run a receiver screen with Zach Pascal and got nothing. Again, why you kept going screen. I just, I get why you do screens. I get that, especially with an aggressive defense like Jacksonville. But it wasn't working all day yesterday, but yet Frank Reich kept calling it. I'm sorry. There's a couple of takes from Colts Twitter that I don't ever agree on. But I'm starting to get to a point where I might start thinking it might be time for the Colts to start saying Reich needs to give up play calling abilities a little bit. A little bit. Because, screen, halfback draw screen? It wasn't working, Frank. Why do we keep running them? Now, again, I'm going to give credit to Carson on a couple of throws because, again, the receivers weren't getting open very well yesterday. It wasn't a great day for the receivers. It really wasn't. Michael Pittman, another day of 5 catches, 70 yards. Michael Pittman doing his thing. Jack Doyle was the next leading receiver, 3 catches for 31 yards. Zach Pascal had 2 for 9. Jonathan Taylor had 6 catches, but only 10 yards. Only 10 yards. Ashton Doolin, 1 for 16. Kylan Granson, 1 catch for 15. Hines, 2 for 17. Cox, 1 of 6. And T.Y. only had 1 catch for 5. Just not a good day for the Colts passing offense. We obviously know this offense can get it going. We just need to see it. It needs to be more effective. The play calling needs to be better, and the execution from everyone just needed to be better. And it just wasn't good. It just wasn't good that day. That's all you can really say about it. There's not much more to it than that. Going to the defense, I'm kind of happy with what the defense did. Outside of giving up a 60-yard run to Agnew and a 56-yard field goal from the Jags kicker, the Colts took care of business. They took care of business in the first half. They did a really great job at opening that game up. The special teams, Bagley still hasn't missed a kick. Zaire Franklin blocking a punt that E.J. Speed recovered for a touchdown. Congratulations to E.J. Speed, by the way. Great job. Awesome accomplishment. Great job, Zaire, for that. Great job on that one. Guys, this was 17-0 in the first 10 minutes of this game. It looked like it was about to be a freaking blowout. It looked like it was going to be a blowout. This defense was handling its business. And a couple guys that deserve some credit for yesterday's performance. That would be Stallworth, again, having another sack. Has had 3 sacks in the last 2 games. I'm starting to see a trend here. I hope he keeps it up. Kwity Paye with his first official sack of the season. And for everyone that's wondering if it was a half sack, it was marked down as a full sack. It was a full sack by Kwity Paye. So first one. DeForest Buckner with a half sack. Also, good job by DeForest Buckner yesterday, too. There were a couple times where Buckner was getting doubled and was still finding ways to get in on that pressure. Just couldn't quite get the sacks that he wanted. Also, shout out to Dio Odangbo. First half sack of the season, and it was the biggest play of the game. Having that half sack, which resulted in a forced fumble that the Colts recovered and ended up winning the football game based off of that. So those are a couple guys that truly deserved a lot of props in this game. Leading tackler was Andrew Sendejo, 6 tackles. I mean, the defense did a good job. The corners did pretty good job yesterday. I'll give props to Lawrence. I mean, Lawrence did not deserve his receivers yesterday. His receivers were so bad yesterday. They were dropping everything. I'm not saying that the Colts weren't playing good coverage most of the time, but they were bad. They were bad. Outside of that, guys, I mean, there really isn't a whole lot more to really discuss. We'll kind of talk more about going into the next few weeks. Obviously, some mistakes that need to still be fixed up. Obviously. But a win's a win. I will take the win. And I will take the win going into this next week knowing we are still in the hunt for a wild card spot. We're still in the hunt. There's 6 teams with a 5-5 or 6-4 record right now. And the Colts are right in the mix. So you just got to do what you got to do. You got to deal with the punches. You just have to make things work, and then you just fix things the next week and then go on. So we'll just end it with that. Let me know what you guys thought of the end of this game. Let me know what you guys thought. All in all, what are you thinking going into this week against Buffalo? Thank you guys again so much for the continued support. And as always, go Colts.